Phillies on top.
But this club just does not die.
He's under it. He's got it. And the game is over. Hoskins swung on, crushed, and the Phillies are going to lead it 4-0. Just a towering fly ball to straightaway left. Schwarber was ready. Bryce Harper has put the Phillies on top.
All right, everybody, good evening and welcome back to another episode of Phrankly Phils. I am your host, Adam Mack. Some big news for the Phillies. If you have been living under a rock for the last, say, 48 hours, some pretty big news. Ranger Suarez, he's doing another rehab assignment in AAA right now with the Iron Pigs. Was hoping to cover that game, but unfortunately it's in Syracuse, and your boy ain't driving all the way to Syracuse to watch Ranger Suarez pitch. But not quite sure, but we'll get a little bit into the minor league report towards the end. But trying to think of some big news for the team. There's only one topic for tonight that's really worthwhile. MV3 is back. Bryce Harper. Yeah, what's up, Adam? Go Phils, as always. But MV3 is back. Bryce Harper, 160 days after Tommy John surgery, has been reinstated, added to the active roster, will play designated hitter tonight and bat third for the Phillies. And unfortunately, the baseball gods aren't in favor of us because, of course, the moment he's ready to come back to the lineup, it's a West Coast trip, man. I don't really want to be staying up this late to watch the Phillies, but he's back. We'll get a little bit into him right now, but let's kind of talk about the first 30 games of the season without Bryce Harper. In my opinion, the Phillies did exactly what they needed to do. They played exactly 500 baseball. They started off really, really slow, but let's just look at their schedule. Break down the schedule a little bit. Obviously, start 0-3 to start the year against Texas. Not an ideal start. Texas is a surprising team this year, too. They've been playing out really, really good baseball. Bruce Bochy's done a good job with the club, but, 0-3, especially that opening day when we're up 5-0 against the team. Regardless, 0-3 against Texas. Took 1-2 against the Yankees. 2 of 3 against Cincinnati. One of those games was postponed. 1 of 2 against Miami, and then split the 4-game series with the Reds. I think that little stretch of games was absolutely atrocious. Horrible baseball. They didn't look like a playoff team. Obviously, this team has high expectations to repeat as NL champs, win the World Series this year. They didn't look like a playoff team the first however many games that was. Horrible pitching. The batting was inconsistent. Rob Thompson wasn't doing a great job with his lineups, yada, yada. They've really stepped it up since then. Let's go through. Took 2 or 3 from Chicago. Wheeler was phenomenal in that one start. Took 3 of 4 of Colorado, big series. And then just the tough stretch of games really, really began. We have Seattle, Johnny U's team, the Seattle Mariners came into town, super young core, and wasn't pretty, but we were able to take 2 or 3 from the Mariners, which I thought was a huge win. And I keep saying throughout this whole season, whole process, we're gonna drop games. We're not gonna sweep every series. We're not gonna put up 40 runs every single game. We're gonna drop some games. It's just gonna happen. It's the type of club we have right now. But looking at it, I really like to see this win. The goal should be to win these series. And to take 2 or 3 from Seattle like that, I thought was an absolute killer move. Just kind of look at some of their games. Obviously dropped the first game. Cool. Lost the opening game day. Pitching kind of from Bailey Falter wasn't great. The comeback win game 2, I just thought shows you the resilience on this team. Even when they are down, I think they were down 6-5-2, something like that. Someone could correct me if I'm wrong on that. What's up, Jose? How are we doing tonight, man? Down 5-2, resilient, came back. That's the type of club. They don't quit. And even in those games where they're getting their asses kicked, they're still fighting. They're the Fightins for a reason. And then we finish off 2 or 3 games from the Houston Astros. Wish those 2 games came last year, but take 2 or 3 from Houston. Be in a position on Sunday to possibly sweep, and very, very close to. People don't realize it. Bailey Falter didn't pitch necessarily well, but we still almost pulled out the win. So they're finding ways to win ball games right now. That's the most important thing for the club, and we got to keep looking forward to that. But we're back. MV3 is back. Now we got to look at this team. Looking forward, when he went down last year, the biggest goal was to keep the team afloat. Obviously, he's such a huge part of this lineup, such a huge part of that dugout, such a huge part of the clubhouse. What he did in the postseason, he's the leader of this team. We know what he can do offensively, but just having his voice and just having his presence around more often, having him in the lineup, he's not that easy out. Walking a few more times. Castellanos has been a double machine. Harper's has fairly decent speed too, so we can get Harper on a lot more. So I love. We already know the addition of Bryce Harper to the lineup. It's huge. It's the biggest thing, and that's what this team is going to be. I said the Phillies were a good team prior to Monday's announcement. The Phillies are about to become a great team, and that's because Bryce Harper is back. But looking forward to this team. They're still battling some injuries. Like first base is still kind of an issue. Alec Bohm has kind of held it together for right now. However, we're missing Derek Hall. We're obviously missing Rhys Hoskins and all that power of the lineup. But Bryce Harper now opens up the designated hitter spot. Fortunately, Schwarber's gonna have to go back to left field. Not a great fielder. My opinion, of our 3 outfielders, he's easily the weakest link. So that's going to be a slight issue I see long term. But you obviously can't replace Schwarber's bat. And once he gets hot, we're playing ball and we're playing good ball at. But let's keep going. Talk about Bryce Harper. Just the craziness behind it. 160 days ago, this man was going in for surgery on Tommy John surgery. 160 days later, he's batting third for the Fightins. I remember when he was first announced he was going into surgery, it was, maybe the All-Star break he can be a designated hitter. Maybe by the All-Star break. And all Philly fans were like, shit, what? This lineup's not the same without him. And we've seen it. The lineup's been missing that spark. Other guys have stepped up. Stott has stepped up. Castellanos has stepped up. Marshy's stepped up. Bohm has stepped up. But we're missing that superstar firepower that we got from Harper. And Trey Turner's going to come around. For those fans that are, he's a bum. The contract was stupid. He can't. All he does is strike out. It's early. He's still trying to get his mojo. Everyone saw the World Baseball Classic, 5 home runs and however many games it was. Unbelievable. Maybe he's a little tired from the WBC. Who knows? But, Turner's going to come together. We'll get a little bit into him later. Little Twitter spat I got into with some lovely Philly fans. But Bryce, the big thing about Bryce is he now ignites, I think, this offense a lot more. Between Harper and Hoskins, we're missing 30-plus home runs, so 60 home runs a year. So it's a huge, huge loss that we saw from both of them. So to get at least one of them back and just the leader that he was, I remember game 3, right after Harper runs the bases for scoring a home run, first thing he'd do is call Alec Bohm over. Very first thing. That's the type of guy we need, in that lineup, mentoring some of these younger guys in the club. I know he's been in the dugout a decent amount for most games. I believe he's traveled throughout the year, but, getting Harper back, it's going to be big. There's no other kind of way to say it. And, he might struggle at first. It's going to happen. He struggled when he first became a Philly. Patience. If he goes over 4 tonight with 4 strikeouts, please don't be alarmed. But the only kind of concern I might have for him is he game ready? I know the whole issues with sliding. They didn't know if he was going to be clear to slide head first. They were trying to train him to slide feet first, but an instinct thing is making that going to be next to impossible. I would have liked to have seen him in AAA just for a game, even if he gets up to the plate, hits a home run on the first pitch, at least get him a little bit of game action, know that he's fully comfortable. He's comfortable kind of rounding the bases, being back in the game. But he must be feeling really, really good that they want to throw him in against the Dodgers, which is no easy win whatsoever. So that would be my kind of only big concern for Harper right now. He's going to come get around together. 2021 he was league MVP. 2022 he's NLCS MVP. He's an MVP. Probably not going to win the MVP this year. Maybe not yet. There's 2 more we can still get, but I don't know. I'm optimistic now. I like the direction where the Phillies are going. I think they did exactly what they needed to do. Obviously, I would have liked to have won a few more games. A few more games are obviously winnable, but the fact that we're trying to look at the things, but we're 15-15 in his absence. And looking at the division right now, we're 5 games back of Atlanta, 1 game and a half of the Mets for second. Atlanta's a really, really good team. I think trying to get after them and win the division is going to be a little bit of a stretch. Even with Harper and Hoskins, I think Atlanta's a really, really good team this year. They were a good team last year. Great pitching, great hitting, just well-balanced team. I think our focus should be on one of the 3 wild card spots because that's ultimately what this team is. This team's a wild card team. Team isn't competing for the NL East title this year. Unfortunately not. We still have some issues that we'll get into a little bit later in the show revolving the pitching of this team, but overall the offense is I think gonna get that spark that they needed. It might take a couple games, like looking at the schedule, still continue a pretty tough schedule. Game tonight against the Dodgers, close the series out tomorrow, 4:00. We have Noel on the mound. Then we return for a weekend series with the Red Sox. I mean, we have Wheeler, Falter, Walker for the Red Sox. Then we have 2 games against Toronto. Then we go to Colorado. I wouldn't be surprised if, honestly, we don't see this offense click until Colorado. Just because we're going to need a lower-end team, more like a confidence booster. We might drop a game to Colorado. It's going to happen. But the fact that we can, have a weaker team and have that opportunity to ignite the bats, ignite that offense, I think is going to be a series to watch out for. Looking at the series, I don't see us going 0-5. We're definitely going to take a couple from the Sox. I think the goal is to try to win 1, if not win out against the Dodgers and hopefully sweep the Blue Jays. But even if we split the Blue Jays, we win 2 or 3 from the Red Sox, we take 1 from the Dodgers, I'll take this stretch of games as a huge, huge win for us and huge win for the club. It's going to take some time for Harper to kind of get his mojo going, but let's kind of move on to some other guys. Let's talk about the infield right now. So infield's obviously going to stay the same, but I think Stott, he's come back a little bit back more to reality, kind of showing that he's more of a second-year player. But the big one I want to kind of talk about, the big one that people are starting to get frustrated with is Trey Turner. He's a star in this game. He's the best shortstop in all of baseball. He's in a slump right now. It's not like he can't hit the ball. It's not like he doesn't know what he's doing out there. He's in a slump right now. He's batting like right around the 200 mark, 250 mark, still putting bad on the ball. His speed is still unbelievable. There's been many opportunities where I've seen that it's an easy double play, but he's still getting on base. He's still getting on base, which is the big key. But he's gonna come around. Like the 5 home runs he had in the WBC, unbelievable performance. But in reality, it's like, how often have we seen players in the MLB have, runs like that? It's been rare. So, he's going to come back. He's going to start to hit the ball. His fielding's been really, really good. The whole fielding, I think, has been just really, really phenomenal. Sosa's, we brought him here for his defense, and his offense has turned out to be even better this year. Bohm has been a solid first baseman. No real complaints there. I think Stott, my biggest concern with Stott wasn't the offense, it was his defense. Was he going to react well to moving from short to second? He looks like he's played second his whole life. So, overall, I like the defense on the infield. JT's still the best catcher in baseball. He's starting to kind of get it a little bit go more together. He's not a home run hitter, but his speed has been very, very solid so far. I've been really, really impressed with that. He leads the team with 5 stolen bases, which I don't think many people were aware of, which I think is absolutely insanity. But looking at the rest of the team, the outfield, left field, obviously, he's going to be now Schwarber. His day off, when he's off, he's probably going to be Josh Harrison. Maybe even Harper. Harper's probably not going to play every single game from here on out. So maybe in those games, Schwarber takes over at DH, move Josh Harrison to left field. That could be probably the move I would expect Hopper to make. But we'll see, kind of something to keep an eye on. But center field, Marsh, he's not that Gold Glove defender. He's turning more into a Silver Slugger, which great for the offense. That was his big weakness last year. But defensively, that's why we brought him here, to lock down the middle of the outfield. He had that sliding catch to start the game against Houston, and he just dropped it. Horrendous throw last night against the Dodgers. Just threw the ball completely out of nowhere. So he needs to really kind of settle down a little bit and realize he's a successful hitter. If he can elevate his game just a little bit more defensively, I have no reason saying he couldn't be one of the best center fielders in all of baseball. Just look at it. Just look at some of his stats right now. If I can pull it up real quick. Batting .337, 422 OPB, 640 slugging percentage. Just bring up more detailed stats for him. 4 home runs. He's second in MLB in OPS, 5th in batting average. He's 14 RBIs on the year. He's a reliable bat, a really reliable bat. And I'm not sure what the step back in his defense is, because that's what his best part about his game is. He's an excellent defender. So I think once he kind of settles down a little bit more and really hones in what kind of player he is, we're going to have one of the best center fielders in all of baseball. And you can mark my words for that, just because of how good of a defender he can be and showed us last year. But he needs to continue progressing as a hitter and really needs to hone in his defensive game, because it's taken a major step back. And then Nick Castellanos, he's turning into probably the most reliable outfielder we have. He's made big time catches all over and over again. He doesn't have a strong arm, which is his downfall, which many people are going to bash him on for not being a great fielder. But he's willing to jump, to dive. He had that, I'm not sure which game against Houston, but robbed the home run, which was beauty of a play. But what else we got going on right now? So that's kind of what it is defensively right now. You add in Harper to that. Let's look at kind of the bench. So Jake Cave got optioned down to AAA. I believe, I haven't seen it come through, but I should know this. I'm a reporter for the Iron Pigs, but I believe Dalton Guthrie's staying up in MLB. Yeah, so that's confirmed. So Dalton Guthrie is going to be the replacement for Krishna Pache, who I believe has a 4 to 6 week recovery period on it, the torn meniscus, which is absolutely just devastating because you subtract that first week, offensively, he's turned into a really productive hitter. I think that last 15 at bats he had before he went down, he was 7 for 15. He's turned into a really, really reliable bat, and defensively, he was solid, making great plays. Strong arm. He was started his career off as the Phillies at only coming in the ninth inning. Then he started getting more, consistent places in the lineup, and everyone was going absolutely insane. It worked out. He really, really worked out. And like, as much as I love Dalton Guthrie, Pache really earned that opportunity to be the first name off the bench and be that guy that if another outfielder, another hitter needs a night off, he steps up and we're not missing much. He really, really was showing a lot. So, but he's going to be out 4 to 6 weeks. As much as I would love for something similar to Bryce Harper in a rapid recovery, I'm going to be optimistic and say it's probably closer to that 5 to 6 week, maybe even longer. But hopefully we can get him back and he can pick up right where he was because Pache, I think, is going to be part of the foreseeable future for this club. And definitely is going to be a main reason that we have a deep playoff run just because of how much he provides to this club. But for now, we have Dalton Guthrie. I don't believe he's played yet since being called back up. I knew it was going to be either him or Simone Muzziotti, but Guthrie has the MLB. They both have MLB experience, but Guthrie did earn the opening day nod. But that is kind of something that is worth noting that they sent Jake Cave down with the move for Harper instead of Guthrie. Cave has just he's been awful. I don't know how else to say it. He should be in AAA right now. He should have started in AAA. Guthrie should have never been sent down, but I don't make the decisions. So it's probably why I'm on a podcast and not in the dugout or the front office right now. Yeah. Makes sense. But regardless, Guthrie's now back in the MLB. Curious when he's going to get that nod to start if like Schwarber, Castellanos, Marshy needs a night off. But Cody Clemens is going to obviously remain in the club. My kind of guess is Clemens needs to stay up. He should have been probably sent down. He's been hot the last couple games, but he's not a great defender. He's not a great bat in the lineup. He still needs some more work. Would have been nice to see him down in AAA more, but ultimately we need a backup first baseman. Our backup first baseman's hurt. We're using a third baseman right now. So yeah, but Cody Clemens, I think once Harper's cleared to play first, you can send Cody Clemens down to AAA, move Bohm back over to third. Sosa can come off the bench and be kind of a guy that steps in to provide, Stott and Turner a night off from time to time, which could be a big thing for Turner's kind of slump. He's played every game. He started every single game. So keep that in mind for us for Turner. We don't really have much. Josh Harrison, it's a hit or miss of which Josh Harrison you're going to get for that game. But let's kind of move on. It's not going to be a long show tonight. We all got to get prepared for MV3 who plays in 19 minutes. So we got to get out of here in 19 minutes so we can all watch MV3 and then probably go to bed after that, I bet, because it's a West Coast series. But just if you're going to the game on Friday, make sure we got to let MV3 know. Let Bryce Harper know how much we missed him and give him the biggest goddamn ovation he's ever gotten. But we're going to end the show with Max Miner's report with Mac. Talk to you a little about what's going on in AAA. One guy I want to talk about He's not a minor, but he's playing in the minor leagues right now, and that's all that matters. See if I can find his stats, how he did today. Probably no. Oh, gotcha. Here it is. Perfect. So Ranger Suarez, Phillies probably fourth pitcher on the team. Completed 2 rehab assignments with Double-A Reading. Today was optioned up to Triple-A for his, I think this is going to be his third rehab appearance. He went 2 innings. 2 innings, gave up 1 walk, no hits, 1 strikeout. Game got shortened because of rain, but still a solid start. I'm hoping I presume since this start got shortened by rain, he's going to do at least 1 more. I hope 2 more, and they really push him to the 4th, 5th inning, kind of what he's normally used to. Give him a solid start down in AAA. He's been really solid. He looks sharp. He's pounding the zone really well. Good movement on the breaking ball. So he's not a minor league player, but he's playing down AAA right now. So Ranger Suarez is making progress in his rehab appearances. So looking at the schedule, what he could return by Chicago or Arizona, maybe Atlanta, New York. So he'll definitely return in the next few weeks. Keep an eye out. I'll keep you updated as that progresses. But let's start with single A, the Clearwater Threshers. 2 guys I want to talk to you about. Caleb Ricketts, 29th rated prospect, 22 years old. He's a catcher. Defensively, I have the stat right here. He has a 42% success rate as a catcher, catching people trying to steal the base. I think this is going to be our future JT Romito replacement. I'm just going to say it. His bat's been really good. He's obviously still in single A, but just the way he's been playing, I think he's going to get that call up to Double A probably before the All-Star break, and then maybe even Triple A by the end. Eventually, we have to phase JT out at catcher, start moving him over to first. It's what it is with catchers. They don't age well. He's not going to be a catcher till he's 42, but he obviously is a big bat. Caleb Ricketts, hitting-wise, leads the team with 15 RBIs. The next player on that list only has 7, so he's more than double the guy in second. He's a good catcher, not just a good hitter. He's a really good catcher. So Caleb Ricketts, Phillies number 29th rated prospect, a name to keep an eye out for the foreseeable future. Phillies 3rd rated prospect, Justin Crawford, started the year off in rookie ball. Now in single A, he's only 19. Phillies top first overall pick in 2021. No, 2022. Sorry. Yeah. He's been sort of a little bit slow, but has a slash line right now of 306, 359, 361. And after talking to a couple sources, he's going to be called up to Double A by the end of the year. So he's incredible outfielder, really good speed, really good bat. Not a power hitter, but can get on base, make contact with the ball. Guys like Schwarber, Castellanos, they're aging. They're not here forever. Justin Crawford is probably the outfielder of the future for the team. So another name to keep down in single A. Moving on to the Double-A, Phrankly Phils and Reading. Nothing crazy. Obviously, the big 2 name players that everyone's focused on is Andrew Painter, Mick Abel, Phillies' top 2 prospects. Painter is still rehabbing a UCL injury that he suffered in mid-March in spring training. They shut him down completely, no throwing anything till mid-April, and are now slowly progressing him. Obviously, 19, he was minor league pitcher of the year last year. He's going to be an ace one day. The Phillies are just being very patient. They don't want to throw his arm out, especially with him being 19, and pitchers really not hitting their prime until 28, 29 years old. So the fact that he's been a dominant minor leaguer has been great, but they want to be very patient with him. So I know Philly fans are ready for him to make it up to the MLB, call his name, but You really got to be patient with him. Don't be surprised if he doesn't even make it to AAA this year. They're being very, very patient. There's no real timetable for him to even throw a bullpen session, let alone get back into a game. So, unfortunately, right now, Painter is going to be sidelined. Mick Abel, he's been playing phenomenal. He started the year off with probably one of the worst starts I've ever seen for a pitcher, but since then, he's been essentially unhittable. Previously, he had 2 games. In total of 2 games, he won 8 innings, 8 strikeouts, 4 walks, and only 2 earned runs. Absolutely phenomenal. He's, I believe, 21, 22. Someone could help me on that one, but still a very young pitcher. I could see him getting the call up to AAA probably soon. They're pitching, but look for him to probably get that call up before anybody. But he's been lights out. He really has been lights out, and if he keeps playing like this, I could see him making his MLB debut this season. Really, looking at some of the Phillies pitchers have been doing, he's definitely a guy I like in the foreseeable future right now. Got to keep him healthy. They're not pitching him that much. 4 innings, 5 innings max right now is what it seems for him. But right now, Abel's phenomenal. Probably the best minor league player we have, regardless of position, regardless of level. Best player in the farm system right now that's playing. Obviously, Painter is by far the superior pitcher, but he's sidelined right now. And just looking at 2023, Mick Abel is the guy. So keep him locked in. Let's go to AAA with the Pigs. Couple guys. Jalen Ortiz was designated for assignment. He started the year off in the MLB, designated for assignment. Key thing. Cleared waivers. Phillies 18th rated prospect. First game back, he was 3 for 4 with a home run. They did place him on the developmental list for a little bit, kind of work at some kinks. He's been really, really hot lately. One thing I'm starting to see with the Phillies is they did it a few times last year, sending guys down for a couple stints, bringing them back up, and they're becoming new players. Jalen Ortiz looks phenomenal. Guthrie, he obviously has been really, really good. And another guy that everyone knows, if you've talked 20 minutes of baseball with me, know how much hype I have for Simone Muzziotti. Phillies, I think he's 10th right now. 11th, sorry. 11th rated prospect. I figured it had between Muzziotti and Guthrie to be called up in the replace of Pache. But Muzziotti's been just lights out. He's playing with confidence. A lot of confidence, which is something you just can't ask for. He's making big hits. He'd make good defensive plays, but he has so much confidence when he steps up to the plate. So much confidence when he's out in the field. So he's still a guy that I'm going to say is going to be called up at some point this year, make his season debut. Really, really like what he's been able to do. And then let's talk about the pitching a little bit for the Pigs. Starting pitching is atrocious. We're not even going to talk about that. The bullpen, though. When I first posted Max Miner's report, Yunior Marte was actually in AAA. He's now recently been called up. I don't have his stats in front of me, but for AAA, though, he was really, really he was unhittable. Couldn't hit him. Saw him 2 times, 2 big games for the Pigs, and the velocity was there, the movement on the breaking balls was there. He looked like a really, really good relief pitcher. I'm hoping that the little stint he had in AAA was enough for him, kind of similar to they did with Jose Alvarado last year. Just come back as a really solid pitcher. So, Marte's been really, really good. Hans Krause, he's the Phillies 25th rated prospect. Same thing, unhittable. Absolutely unhittable. They're going like multiple starts without giving up hits, out giving up runs, striking out players. No, not many walks. So Hans Krause, Yunior Marte, and the last one, Francisco Morales, Phillies 10th rated prospect. The three of them. They're just. I remember I went to one game where I had Marte, then Morales, and the other team had no hits, and 8 of the 9 hitters struck out. It's unbelievable how solid the bullpen is, and we're in a situation where the Phillies bullpen is best in Major League Baseball with Alvarado, Anthony, Soto, Kimbrel, some of these other guys. And the issue is when we get our pitching, like when we get Suarez back, my kind of thing is I don't want Bailey Falter to be sent down to AAA. Keep him up in Major League Baseball because he's been good for an inning or two. He's gonna be a really good guy to keep in the bullpen. Even Matt Strahm, if they for some reason want to move him to the bullpen, keep those guys up in the MLB. So unfortunately for Krause, for Morales, they might spend more time than they should. I hope McKinley Moore needs more time, more work. He just wasn't ready. Even in AAA, he just doesn't look good. There's better options in my opinion than McKinley. So that's a thing to keep an eye on. But nothing much happening with Max Miner's report. But the big kind of news with the Phillies right now, MV3 is back. Couple of notes to keep with it. We're going to see a few different lineups the next couple games. But kind of just keep a mental note of where everyone is in these lineups. You might see 1 and 4 change, 1 and 3, 1 and whatever, these many changes, but because something I noticed at the beginning of the season, certain players were playing the same position, but you were just distracted by other changes. But, looking at this lineup, I'm not thrilled with Schwarber leading off. He's been struggling. I love the Stott Turner 1-2 punch. First, I was a little skeptical, but overall, the 1-2 Stott Turner punch I thought is going to be phenomenal. I think it's going to be extremely deadly. You then add Harper into the mix. Right there, our 1-2-3 punch. Phenomenal. Harper's a power hitter, though. He might get out. Castellanos has been hitting the ball really, really good. Bohm's been hitting the ball good. So the biggest issue for the Phillies last year was no one was getting on base. I think we're going to see a change with this club right now. So I'm excited for the future. MV3 is back. Make sure you're watching. The game's first pitch is in just a few minutes. So we're going to hop off here shortly so we can all kind of just sit back and enjoy, enjoy the return of he's back, baby. Just enjoy the ride with the team. We got a big few next week coming up for the team, obviously. The next 7 games between LA, Boston, and Toronto. The AL East is super, super tough this year. Fortunately, we can get 3 of the 5 teams out of the way. Actually, 4 of the 5 teams before the All-Star break because we played Tampa Bay right before the All-Star break. But, exciting stuff here for the Phils. MV3 is back, like I said. Everyone's really starting to play baseball again. They look like a team that can compete for the National League Championship again. And I said it before, I'm going to say it again. They were a good team without Harper. They're about to be a great team with him back in this lineup. So I'm excited for this. Obviously, it's another episode of Phrankly Phils. Make sure you're tuning in every Tuesday. On Tuesdays, it's all about the Phillies here at the AT Sports Network. But, Monday we got soccer. Wednesday we got football. Friday we got more football. But Tuesdays is all about the Phillies. As always, I'm your host, Adam Mack. For another episode of Phrankly Phils, we will see you all next